that's not today's lesson. This is a weird one. I did the Travis picking in the first lessons because I presume anybody who searches for Dust in the Wind online is going to come looking for the Travis picking. I didn't want to give them the note reading at first and then have them not return to see what the Travis picking's about. I'm coming back now to the note reading though. This is from the Pop Supplement book. It includes notes on the 5th string, so if you're relatively a beginner guitarist and you're working through Hal Leonard, you're on page 22 and 23, working on the A with the B and C notes, then this song is available to you in your natural position, playing your natural notes. So in a way, it's a beginner lesson, it's note reading. I'm going to play it at the 5th position, just because it sounds nice there, and we can get it in that A Aeolian, C Ionian area, which is not necessarily a beginner's idea. And also, if you're an advanced guitarist and you play chords and you do the Travis picking, but you don't read notes, you really should be. I know a lot of great successful artists talk about the fact that they don't read music, but that's not an excuse not to read music. Learning to read music is learning to read a language. It's good for your brain and it develops all kinds of connections throughout your development. It increases your musicality if you use it properly. If you continue to play music by ear, continue to play by feel, but also add the element of note reading. When you go to college or you play in an orchestra or you want to play in a studio, there's a good chance you'll need to know how to read music anyway, so it's not a virtue to avoid it. The book has this song with a few variations, so it's spread out over 2 pages. As you know, I love to compress things. If something's repeating, I just tell you to play it repeated. I don't ask you to read it twice. The other thing I'd like to point out here is this is not quite, but almost a pentatonic song. The 2 notes that aren't in a C pentatonic major are B's and F's, and they do show up, but it's really nice how they show up as preparatory notes or transitional notes. We'll have a quick look at the analysis of it as always. Here we've got a pickup note on the B, right away, the non-pentatonic note. If you're playing in natural position, play an open B, and the C on the 1st fret. D, 3rd fret, that's a chord tone in G, and the open E is a chord tone on the A. In fact, when you hear that intro which I played for you, here's the C on a C chord, the D on a G over B, and the high E on that A chord. When we get to the G note, the chord is not playing it. I always used to put it in so I could sing it. The chord is only playing the open B. On the D, this version shows you starting on the G note, a little bit of a sus, immediately coming on to the F note, which is part of the D minor chord. And my chord got smudged over there, but that's the D note on the A minor first, it's a sus, and then back up to the chord tone. So here we have C on a C chord, D on a G chord, E on an A minor, G's on a G chord, a sus on the D minor, and then just passing from the F to the E to the D. The F and the D are chord tones. And then a sus on the A minor, resolving upward to the chord tone again. This isn't really clearly legible. That's a D note on a D chord. We rest on beat 1 in this book. In the old book they didn't show that. They had the note on beat 1. But we're resting on beat 1. Playing the D, I don't like this system of writing a half note that overlaps the middle of the bar. We should respect a center bar line, an imaginary bar line, and I prefer that to look like this. A D on one half of the bar tied to a D on the other half of the bar. When you're reading by sight, that makes a little more sense to you. You can keep track of your beats better. So we get a D chord, a D note on the D chord, a root obviously. It continues on the G chord where it's a 5, and then the sus, or a passing tone, the C to a chord tone B to a chord tone A on the A minor chord. D notes on the D chord, and on the G, passing through C again. And that was your chorus. The old version of the book didn't put this in the lower octave, but now they show the same melody sung an octave lower. So we have C on a C chord on that ledger line. That's why we need to be able to read on the 5th string. D on the G chord, and E on the A chord again. So I'm going to play this at the 5th position. I'll show you a picture there that shows it. So B is at the 4th fret, C at the 5th of the 3rd string, D note. The G you'll see is either in an A minor pent slash C major pent under the pinky, or if this is C Ionian, which it is, it's also the A Aeolian shape, and the G's under the pinky there again. So B to C, to D, E, all in the scale shape. Walk down that Ionian shape now. Back up from D to E. So the point here for me is that I'd like to see how pentatonic this is. With that one little B there. One little F passing through. That line repeats. Then we come into the chorus, still working the same notes. D, C, through that B, which you know from our Ionian, Aeolian shape, or even the hexatonic scale. Back to D's, C, B, A again. Now we go to the bottom string, our C, which we have here on the 5th string, is also here on the 6th. While I'm actually describing this, I want to come back and say, if you're still working through the Hal Leonard book, don't be playing this at the 5th position. I usually come to this when we're in the 2nd book. So you can play it in an open position when you're first encountering those notes. You can play it in 5th position as you're mastering the guitar neck. If you've played for years and years and you want to start note reading, you can do both. Here's that low C though. D is on the 5th fret, 5th string. E is the 7th fret. G is on the 5th fret of the 4th string. Pass through an F, 8th fret. C, B is the 7th fret, passing to the A, the 2 ledger lines there. D's right above it, the 4th note. I'm going to quit describing everything. There's nothing new here, although there's a little turnaround here and there. I'm just going to play the tune now at a nice slow tempo, hopefully that you can play along to. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3. Repeat. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. D's. Now into the low octave. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same melody. 2, 3, 4. 3. Repeat. C, D, E. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Rest. D, C, B, A. 2, 3, 4. 2. Back up the octave. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that little D there before the repeat. 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Rest. 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see they put in a few little turns that we didn't have earlier. This is to reflect the actual vocal melody. So D up to F. This little D I put in brackets. We play it the first time as a pickup. back to here. I hope while I was talking I counted it right. It's on beat 4 and returns us to this C on our repeat signs. Then they drop down the octave here to play the ending. I'm not going to rush this, and I'm not going to try to accompany this with Travis picking, but I will put it inside of chords now for you, as I like to do. If the notes feature the second and third strings, it works beautifully with chords that hit the fifth and fourth strings. This melody goes down into the lower octave, so you will lose track of chords below. I will try to get them up on top while I play it. I don't have an arrangement for this, of course, as you know. I'm just improvising, so bear with me. 1, 2, 3, 4.